Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? You guys okay? Are you alright? You doing well today? Because I'm really scared. I'm really frightened. This is my review of Annabelle Creation, which I watched recently after it premiered. This is a new format I'm working on for my review and discussion videos where I'm not going to do any fancy intro or anything, just get right into it. Oh god, okay. So, basically, Annabelle Creation takes place, you know, a lot before the first Annabelle movie, and here's the thing about it. It's a very crazy experience because this time around the director isn't James Wan, it's David Sandberg, who directed that Lights Out short that you guys may have seen on YouTube. It's a short horror film. If you still haven't watched it, look, I honestly don't recommend it because it's a bit unnerving, it's disturbing, but it does set the tone for what the entire Annabelle Creation movie is all about. Here's the thing. I love the Conjuring movies. If you haven't watched my last video talking about them, just hit this link right here before or after watching this one. Now, it's a very great horror franchise. It really works on realism, and it does a lot to heighten your senses and your fear and make you actually be afraid as you watch. You know, it's just, I can't even begin. You know, the Conjuring movies are just great. They're fantastic. I have barely any complaints I ought to make about them. But the thing is, well, the last one, it was a bit disturbing because Annabelle Creation, it really plays on the sort of, it's almost like the director was asking himself, how visceral and disturbing can I make my image? How graphic can I make this movie? And I think it was kind of scary how he answered that question because Annabelle Creation, by the way, spoilers ahead just to let you guys know, Annabelle Creation has a few scenes, like for example where one of the characters, towards the end of the movie, where she is killed off by the demon and she's hanging in like a crucified position on her wall, and she's missing her entire lower body, you know, she's missing half of her lower body, and there's blood everywhere, guts and gore, and there's also a scene where her husband is holding a cross to a demon, and then the demon actually, without even touching him, it starts bending all of his fingers back and breaking them until the cross falls from his, Jesus Christ. There are many scenes of violence, and the movie, here's the thing, whenever I watch a horror movie for the first time, I never embrace the jump scares. I have to watch Annabelle 5 times, the original one. I have to watch it 5 times in theaters, by the way. My next video is going to be talking about my craziest experiences in cinema, and you guys are going to find out how I watched it 5 times. And let's just say that I didn't pay for all of the times that I watched it. And I had to watch it 5 times because I had to slowly embrace the scares, you know, I had to gradually work towards them, because the first time around I actually closed my eyes on all the scares, you know. So most of the jump scares, the good ones anyway, they didn't really have any effect on me because I didn't see them, I didn't watch them. I refused to you know, how do you say, to face the jump scares, to face my fear of sorts, you could say. And it was very unnerving, but after I did watch them, it wasn't really that bad, you know. I can watch Annabelle today without cringing, without flinching, without anything. The problem with Annabelle Creation, however, is that, well, there were a few jump scares that I couldn't exactly, actually the best, what I consider to already have been the best jump scare in the movie, I didn't see. A friend of mine actually jokingly sent me a gif of that jump scare on WhatsApp. I haven't opened it yet because I don't want to. It's just, it was kind of crazy. It's a scene where, you see, the story is that there's a doll maker who has a daughter and a wife, and one certain day he makes a doll, which we later find out is Annabelle. It's a very intricate story that weaves right into the first movie, and his daughter dies in a car accident, and, you know, him and his wife do some kind of ritual, some kind of seance to try and communicate with the spirit of their dead daughter. And of course, as we all know from Hollywood, that never goes well. And, you know, apparently a demon manifested itself, pretended to be their daughter, and, you know, sort of crept into their lives, so to speak, you know, and just won't leave them alone. Now, crazy thing, the demon turns out to be just really malicious. It's not the kind of demon that's a prankster. It actually wants to hurt everyone. It actually gouges out the eyes of the guy's wife, and crazy. At one point, the spirit of the daughter does appear because they open up a shelter, like an orphanage for girls, right? And at one point, one of the girls who's staying there, she opens up a room that she's not supposed to, the little girl's bedroom, and she goes in, and here's the jump scare. She sees the little girl's spirit looking at a window asking her for help. Then when the girl asks what she needs her help with, she turns around and like the demonic voice says, "Your soul." And apparently her face turned all demonic and shit, but I didn't see it. But yeah, because I was alone in the movie theater, you know. I watched the movie alone, just to let you guys know. I didn't watch the day premiere. I watched it on Saturday, 2 days later. Just to think, oh, maybe there's not going to be anyone there. I'm going to be able to buy my ticket, you know, or it's not going to be too crowded. There was not a single motherfucking soul in that theater with me. I went to the 9:20 session, which was the only captioned session. Every other session was dubbed. So, of course, everyone pretty much picked dubbed. No one wanted to see the movie captioned at night. So I'm not exaggerating. I was alone in the movie theater watching this horror movie by myself. Oh, Jesus. It was really visceral, really crazy, because I was facing the jump scares alone. There was no one to scream with me. There was no one to react with me. I was alone. So of course I closed my eyes during all the scary parts. But the movie was still really, really good. I'm not saying that it wasn't. It was actually great, but because the director was different, it wasn't James Wan. James Wan, of course, he was there on set supervising, but he didn't actually direct it. It was David Sandberg. And David Sandberg is a fucking psychopath, I think. He has a few screws loose in his head, because that movie is just disturbing. Very good movie, but also disturbing. The imagery will not leave your psyche anytime soon. There are a lot of moments of tension that build up towards jump scares, and those moments leave you with a lot of dread. And I think that David Sandberg is really cheap with the jump scares, because at times he uses a lot of loud music, like Michael Bay style, and it's like, you know audio-based jump scares, right? It's like, it's in horror movies, it's a trope where like the movie scares you with audio. It doesn't even show you anything sometimes. It's just like everything is quiet, then suddenly the music blares up and you get scared. That's a really cheap shot, and there was a lot of that in Annabelle Creation. There were many scenes that did really pay off, I will admit. After the little girl has polio, one of the girls, and she can't walk without a crutch. And when she gets possessed, because of course everyone has to be possessed in these movies at some point, she is able to walk normally, and she fucking kills people. It's kind of weird. The cast is pretty okay. I mean, everyone is young, so you can't really demand too much of them, but it's really, really great. The scenes where the girl is starting to be broken down and feel the demonic presence are really, really well orchestrated, especially for a child actress in the role. And things really, really escalated towards around a little after the middle of the movie, because we start seeing a lot of activity. There is one jump scare at one point where you're so certain that a jump scare is gonna happen. When two of the older girls are like sort of camping or something, they're under a bed sheet with a flashlight under them. You've seen this before in movies, right? Where kids have a sleepover and they put a bed sheet over them and turn on a flashlight and try to tell scary stories and try to scare each other. Yeah, they did that, and there was a the first jump scare of the movie actually, which I half embraced. It happened and I was like, ah. So it was a half jump scare for me. And I love horror movies, guys, but sometimes I'm a bit of a coward, so don't really mind that. Still a very, very great title. What else can I say about Annabelle Creation? There were many scenes that left me disturbed, unnerved, almost nauseous. You know, I was kind of nauseated at some scenes, and every scene involving Annabelle, by the way, is just so great, because the movie doesn't exactly make sense, because Annabelle, the first one, was supposedly, you know, like telling the story of the doll, you know, because apparently the real life story wasn't scary enough for the producers or something. I mean, a fucking doll moving position when you leave the house, going somewhere else, and blah 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 blah. I actually talked about that in my last video, and apparently that wasn't scary enough. They had to create a whole different story of how the doll came to be and how it was possessed. Okay, points for them, good for creativity. However, Annabelle Creation is now an origin story of how the doll was created. Why? Why doesn't Hollywood go forward for once? They always go backwards. It's a prequel after prequel after prequel after prequel. Damn it, man. I mean, Annabelle is a prequel to The Conjuring, and Annabelle Creation is a prequel to Annabelle. Why so many prequels? Anyway, so the scenes with the doll are very, very unsettling, because, well, it's Annabelle, right? Whenever you see the doll anywhere in the room, it's kind of weird, because the camera movement sort of kind of tricks you. It sometimes moves and shifts around, and you see the doll in one position, and you see her with her head turned, and you swear in the next scene she's going to be right behind the girl. There is a scene when the girl was in the room, and then supposedly Annabelle puts on the bed sheet and starts creeping up on her like a ghost. The bed sheet falls, and you see nothing. It's pretty unnerving. I kind of expected more. It's kind of a cheap shot, but it was still a very good scene overall. And of course, when the doll was introduced, that was pretty awesome. Oh god. The doll was introduced to us in the first time, not counting when she was created in the prologue, but she was introduced when She was locked in a room. Ow, 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 my ear, what the hell? Ah, my ear really itches. The doll was introduced to us when one of the girls, she goes into the bedroom that she's not supposed to, and she opens up a door that she's not supposed to, you know, with the key that she wasn't even supposed to pick up. She's not supposed to do a whole bunch of shit that she does. I know she has polio and everything, and she actually gets a little picked on by the older girls, but it's kind of hard to feel sorry for her when she does a whole bunch of shit that she's not supposed to in the first place. I mean, everyone was told to not go in the bedroom and she goes in, so in a way, she kind of deserves what was coming to her. Anyway, and then she opens up the door and sees the Annabelle, and you already know shit's gonna happen. Apparently, according to the movie's lore, that was when you released the demon into the house, you know, left it free again. But it was kind of unsettling because she opens the door and sees Annabelle. Okay, then she closes the door and walks away. The door opens again. Then she closes it and locks it, and it opens again. You know, it keeps opening, so at one point I guess she just leaves it open. Then the camera movement, it turns back to the door open, and Annabelle isn't inside anymore. There was actually a moment even before that, which didn't really make a lot of sense, because this is before Annabelle was found in the room. One of the girls is in her bedroom, and then the door closes, the bedroom door closes, and you see Annabelle, you know, all out of focus behind her, walking up to her. So how did that even happen if Annabelle was still in the... Anyway, whatever. But the jump scares are very, very, very good. Some are cheap. Actually, many are cheap, but there are a few that really do pay off. And I would like to watch the movie again just to actually see the jump scares that I missed. And I can't watch a horror movie just once. Come on, guys. I gotta watch it at least 3 times to fully absorb it, embrace it, you know. And it's cool, I guess, you know. It's all good. It's all good. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I don't really know what else I can say about the movie, you know. That's kind of my review about it. I just want to discuss it a little bit with you guys. If any of you have watched it, feel free to leave me a comment down below, you know. Like this video if you enjoyed the movie. And, well, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of other things to say, but that's kind of it. If I were to rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it an 8. But that's because I was too scared to watch all of it. There were many a scene that I just couldn't even be bothered to open my eyes because I was too scared. So for now, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Yeah, that seems about right. And yeah, that's it. That was my review and discussion of Annabelle Creation. That's all I can say for now. My next video is going to be talking a little bit about my craziest experiences in movie theaters, and I'm going to elaborate on it, watching this particular movie alone, which is kind of interesting. Very entertaining though. And that's it. This is Igor Chesterfield signing out for now. Check out Annabelle Creation in theaters before it leaves, and, well, before it gets pulled out, not leave, because movies can't physically leave Check out Annabelle Creation in theaters today, guys, if you haven't already. It's worth an admission ticket. And as always, I will see all of you dudes and dudettes in my next video.